Good afternoon and welcome to 3 o'clock with SAC. I'm Marisol Diaz, Communications and Digital Manager. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenas tardes, soy Marisol Díaz, gerente de Comunicaciones Digitales y bienvenidos a 3 en punto con SAC. Si quieren acceso al programa en español, favor de marcar el número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122 y cuando le contestan la llamada, marque la contraseña que es 779-328-221. Si quieren ver episodios pasados, los pueden buscar aquí en nuestro Facebook en la sección de videos y también en YouTube. All right, now I'll go ahead and pass it over to the moderator of the day who will introduce today's topic.
Hi everyone, my name is Marlaina Jackson and I am the Public Health Coordinator here at the Southside Organizing Center. I wanted to just quickly say that COVID-19 numbers have gone down, so that is really good. But before I continue, I wanted to quickly let everyone know that the interpretation line is in the comment section, but I can also let you guys know what it is. The interpretation line is as follows. You can call 646-749-3122, and then you put in a code, and it's 779-328-221. So that's supposed to help you log into that information. These videos can be accessed through our Facebook page and on our YouTube page as well in both English and Spanish. So that is very helpful to know. So our guest, Marlaina Jackson, is running a little behind. So I will go ahead and give you guys an update regarding our COVID segment. So I want to let you guys know that just a quick update that if you are traveling to Puerto Rico in the next coming weeks, or if you're traveling now to Puerto Rico, something that you should know is that they're not letting individuals on the plane unless you have a PCR test. So you should get your PCR COVID-19 test before you go travel, specifically to Puerto Rico. So I just got a call actually from pharmacist from Hyatt Pharmacy, and they informed that that's something that's been happening. So for those of you that are traveling to Puerto Rico, remember to have a PCR test before you go and get on the plane. So that being said, that was just a little quick update, and I have Marlaina Jackson on here with me. So if we can have her on the screen. Hi, Marlaina. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Hi, how are you?
Good. I have not seen you in a while, so I hope everything's been going good. So we brought you on here today to kind of talk about some updates that you have for us regarding COVID. So one of the first things that we'd like an update on is, any COVID-19 numbers.
Yeah, so thanks. And thanks for having me on again. I'm always happy to come and talk. I'd love to talk about other stuff from the health department outside of COVID, but right now that is our life. So I'm happy to come and share some information as we continue to fight this pandemic. So right now for the city of Milwaukee, our total cases are just above 67,000. So 67,350 total cases. And from a positivity rate, so when we look at how many people are tested and then what percent of that number is positive, we're at 5% positive. And it's important to note that because sorry about that. It's important to know our positivity rate because it tells us where we are in this fight against the pandemic. Lower rates means there's less disease in the community, and then higher rates means there's higher disease in the community. So when we are at a 5% positivity rate, that puts us at about moderate risk for contacting COVID-19 in our community. And I would also add too, when we look at our total numbers across the entire pandemic, we continue to see particular area codes and zip codes, 53215, 53204, continue to be some of our hotspots, and they've been that way for a while, where we have higher cases. And we know that that is a primarily Latinx community, as well as some immigrant and refugees as well. So we continue to do outreach in these particular spaces to try to, at this point, get really information about the vaccine out there.
Thank you for that information. So regarding COVID-19 vaccines, how far is Milwaukee or Wisconsin in regards to getting vaccinated? What is the current percentage regarding that? Because I do know that in order to have herd immunity, we need to reach 80%. So can you just talk about that?
Yeah, so 80% is that high number that we're looking for as public health professionals to say that enough individuals in the community have either they've been protected through a vaccine or through actually getting COVID, which means they have protection. And so the overall community is more protected. And so again, like you said, part of that is the vaccine. So for the city of Milwaukee, we vaccinated about 30% of our overall city of Milwaukee resident population. And that's really close actually to the state average, which is also just a little bit higher than 30%. But we know that in the city of Milwaukee, we have lots of work to do to get to the 80, but we also know that it takes time as well. So we are working really hard to continue to be in spaces where we know individuals are that want the vaccine, and make sure we're getting it to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So my next question for you is, can you tell us about the different types of vaccines that are currently available?
Yeah, so the 3 vaccines that are out in the community, and they can be given at any particular space, the Milwaukee Health Department, different pharmacies, as I know you were just talking about, as well as your doctor's offices are giving out vaccines. And so there's 3 that have been approved for emergency use, and that's Pfizer. Pfizer is a 2-dose vaccine, meaning you have to get 1 dose, and then you have to come back 3 weeks later to get your second dose. And then there's Moderna. Moderna is also a 2-dose vaccine. You go and get your first dose, and then 4 weeks later, you come back and get your second dose. And then there's the Johnson & Johnson, which is a 1-dose vaccine, meaning you come the one time and then you get your shot. And for all 3 doses, once you get that last shot, it takes about 2 weeks for your body to really build up an immunity to the overall vaccine. So you're really not considered fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after the second shot for Moderna and Pfizer, and then 2 weeks after that 1 dose for Johnson & Johnson. I can tell you too, for the Milwaukee Health Department, we use both Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. We've phased out our Moderna, but there are other spaces, again, pharmacies and primary care clinics that have all 3.
So that being said, from what I'm understanding, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is being brought back.
Yeah, so there was the FDA did put a pause. Federal Drug Administration did put a pause on the Johnson & Johnson a couple weeks ago because of some side effects or symptoms that were seen in a very particular population. So women ages 13 to 38 who experienced some clotting within 13 days of getting their Johnson & Johnson. And because of those women that received, I believe it was 8 women who ended up with this side effect, which can be severe. The Federally Drug Administration decided to pause the Johnson & Johnson. And they paused because they want to take a look very closely at those cases. They also want to make sure that there's no other cases in the country. And then they want to make sure that anyone that's giving out the Johnson & Johnson knows what to tell people when they're giving it out. So it's really a pause to just make sure that everything that we can do to prevent any kind of severe reaction or symptom that we're doing as public health professionals and as a government. So they did restart it. It got restarted last Friday. They approved the initiation of the Johnson & Johnson. And so just to be clear, because I know there's been a lot of communication out and a lot of fear, right? That, oh my gosh, is this Johnson & Johnson safe for me to take? One of the things that's really important to understand is that the complication that happened with these women is a 1 in a million chance. So it is still a very, very rare occurrence that these individuals had their reactions that they did. And Dr. Weston, who is one of our physicians from the county, described it as there are things in our medicine cabinets, whether it's Tylenol or Advil or other medicines that we use that have riskier side effects than this particular Johnson & Johnson. So it's something to really, really understand. But it's also important that if you are going to take Johnson & Johnson, that you do talk to your provider if you're within that group, that 16 to 38-year-old woman or female, that if you're concerned about it, you can talk to your doctor about it, or you can feel free to obviously take the Pfizer.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that and breaking down any misconceptions that were out there. Thank you so much. My next question is, what are the current sites that are available for individuals to get vaccinated in Milwaukee?
Yeah. So there are, first of all, again, there's lots of sites, and I'm so grateful for all of the individual businesses like Hyatt, like Walgreens, like Kroger, that have stepped up to the plate to provide mobile vaccine sites, as well as sites at particular churches or grocery stores. And then, of course, the Milwaukee Health Department. So I'll tell you first about just the couple at Milwaukee. So for the city of Milwaukee, we still have the Wisconsin Center open, but then also we've opened up our 2 community sites. So the Southside Health Center, as well as the Northwest Health Center, are open for vaccines Monday through Thursday, 10 to 6. And then, like I said, the Wisconsin Center is also open. I will put some information, I'll send it to you or put it in if there's a chat, because the Healthy MKE website is a website that any individual can go on and then find all of the vaccinators in the city. So not just the Milwaukee Health Departments, but also other places that are vaccinating. Again, the Walgreens pop-ups or those kind of things. So it's important to know that the city of Milwaukee is one opportunity for you to come and get vaccines, but there's also lots of others.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
We're
putting that link in the chat. We have shared it before, but definitely I will go over that site with everyone tomorrow during our COVID section tomorrow as well, just so individuals can become more familiar with it. Yeah, so thank you. And just finally, I'd like to emphasize for every session that I have with a community leader that's working with COVID, is there a cost for the COVID vaccine?
That is a great question. And no, there is not a cost. Vaccines are considered preventative medication and therefore are free because we want people to take these preventative measures. So know that if you don't have insurance, there is no cost to you. If you do have insurance, there is still no cost to you as an individual. Vaccinators are allowed to bill insurance companies for the administration of medication or administration of the vaccine. But that cost is not allowed to come down to the individual person receiving the vaccine. So whether you have insurance or not, know that you should never get a bill for a vaccine or anything like that. And if that happens somehow, then you need to reach out to that particular vaccinator to have that conversation about why that happened. So it is free of charge to anyone. And I will point out that that is whether you are a citizen or not, whether you are documented or not. It is free to anyone.
This just occurred to me. I have had some friends that I have one friend that she's from Texas, but she lives here, and she got her first dose in Texas. And so I've had this question come up too from other community members who are living here, who got their first shot somewhere else, such as another state or in Mexico. Do individuals have to go back to the same facility in order to get their second dose, or can they receive it here?
They can. So it's not so much important as where you get your second dose. So yes, you can absolutely get your second dose at the Milwaukee Health Department. I believe the walk-up clinics, you can get it as well, like the others. But I would encourage those individuals, if they have a question, to call the Milwaukee Health Department hotline, which is 414-286-6800. But know that it's more important that you get the same type of vaccine. So if you had Pfizer, then you want to get Pfizer. If you've had Moderna, you want to get Moderna. So that's more important, which is why you should call. And again, you can also check the Healthy MKE website, because they also have information about who's giving what shot. But yes, you can absolutely, the health department will vaccinate you for your second dose here if you've had it somewhere else. Again, the whole goal is that we're all trying to work together to make sure that everybody's fully vaccinated.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering that question for me, Marlaina. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on before we conclude? It can even be something that's not related to the current COVID-19 information, something that, because I know you're working with community, you're working with community leadership right now, I believe. So anything that you would like to share, you have.
Yeah. Thanks. I think it's for right now, I would say COVID is our largest thing, but we do have some information that'll be coming down the pipe next week as it relates to our Office of Violence Prevention. So we will have a new leader in that role, and know that we are looking to branch out. Actually, we have in our Office of Violence Prevention, we have an intervention program called 414 Life, which is a team located right now on the north side, and we're looking to expand that to the south side. So love to bring some information back about that as it unfolds in the next couple of months. So lots of things. I think it's really important to understand that while the health department is fighting this COVID vaccine, we're still doing all of our other work. So we still provide WIC services. We still provide lead prevention and lead abatement services and Office of Violence Prevention. So we're still doing all that work.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Even though the pandemic is our main priority right now, there's still other factors that are actually increasing because of the pandemic, such as domestic violence and other factors like that. So thank you so much, Marlaina. It's always a pleasure to have you on. We are having Marlaina come on every month. So she is going to be coming on to give us any updates. And if anyone does have any questions, please put them in the chat. I can send them over to her. I don't see any questions so far right now, but if any do come up, Marlaina, I will definitely send them over to you. So thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye. All right. Always a pleasure to have Marlaina on, giving us these updates directly from the Milwaukee Public Health Department. So now I'm going to go ahead and share our COVID-19 site. So SOC has a COVID-19 site. So give me a second while I share my screen. Hopefully this looks good. All right. So this is our screen here. Essentially, this is the main homepage for the Southside Organizing Center's website. And once you go here, you'll see COVID information. So what I want you guys to do is click on that. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to click on MKE County COVID-19 information. And that's going to take you right to the Milwaukee County Public Health Department's site for all of your information. You're going to click on testing locations, and it's going to take you right to the testing locations here. So these are all of the testing locations that you need to know with all of the times in order to get tested for COVID-19. And then you can also register on this site as well. So if you go back, if you go back up, you can click on vaccine. And then that'll take you right to who's eligible, and you click on register here and you can register for that. So let me stop sharing my screen. Great. So that is essentially our community resource for today that I wanted to share. And a part of our COVID vaccination information. So now I'm going to let you guys know who's coming up for tomorrow. So for the rest of the week, tomorrow we have a guest on. We have Esperanza Gutierrez. She's going to give us some resident association updates from the KKRNI. And then we have Tommy Molina. He's an organizer from Voces de la Frontera Action and FDLF Essential Workers Rights Network. So that's what he's going to be giving us some information about that. So we look forward to having that tomorrow. And other than that, I'm going to leave you guys with our survey promo. But other than that, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you? What part of the forum could be improved or changed to make it better? Please take a quick survey that's located in the comments section so that we can keep 3 o'clock with SOC going for residents. Thank you for tuning in.